All right, let's bring her in. This is first-time guest. You know her as the fake TikTok journalist, according to Tyler and Ashley. You can find her at Storytime with Rikki on TikTok. She covers Love is Blind. First time on the podcast. It is Rikki Wise. Rikki, thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get into it right away. Before we get into talking about the drama this season on Love is Blind, I want you to give people a little bit background on how Storytime with Rikki came about, your background, what made you get into TikTok, what made you get into covering the show, how it all started for you with this.
Oh, okay. So I like to refer myself as a reality TV correspondent.
Okay.
And so I do have a background in journalism. I do have a degree in journalism. It's always been a passion of mine. But I never went the traditional route because I do like sharing my personal opinion. And I know with a lot of, media outlets, you are not allowed to do that. So that's why I appreciate the TikTok platform, because I am able to insert my opinion that I think resonates a lot with my audience. So I started my TikTok to primarily do dating story times, just about my personal life. And I did one video where I was like, oh, Love is Blind was on. And I was like, these are the men that I would date from the show. And the video kind of took off. So I said, oh, there's an interest in this show. So I did another video about the show, just like kind of recapping my thoughts on the episode. And then that video took off and they just kept taking off on this show. So I said, okay, this is clearly a lane that people like. People like to hear me talk about this show, give my recaps, give my opinion. And then it transitioned into people coming to me to share their stories of things that they knew about cast members behind the scenes. So that's also been another avenue of my platform, is sharing what's going on behind the scenes and like making sure that I get the most accurate tea that's out there.
So you are the reality Steve of Love is Blind, essentially, because that's essentially what happens to me. People want to come to me and tell me about the contestants on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and I have to vet them out, make sure it's just not somebody that's a scorned ex, and this is legitimate and stuff like that. So it's really that's really cool that you do that for Love is Blind. Yes. Now, when did the Love is Blind, where you were doing it as a seasonal thing? What season did it start with you doing this?
Just season 3. I've been only on TikTok for 2 years. So it's all very new, very recent. It's all happened very fast. So myself and Reality Ashley are like the go-to tea spillers of Love is Blind, as we do for The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
And honestly, my background, just to let you know, is I've only seen 6 and 7. I know the names of the other people that past seasons. I've heard them just from being on enough entertainment sites and reading that stuff. You'll hear names come across and stuff like that. But I've only watched the last 2 seasons. And it wasn't until this season when my For You page started blowing up. You started appearing on my For You page on TikTok all the time. And I'm like, this is really good stuff. This is exactly what I do, just in the Bachelor world. So this is really cool. I like content creators who do this. So obviously there's a lot to get to, and your main focus, I guess, this season and even post-show has been all the Tyler and Ashley stuff. And just from the outside, I know some of the things that you've reported. I did watch Bry's. I've been calling her Bree the whole time, but I guess it's Bry. I've been, I watched Bry's 5 Instagram feed posts in regards to everything that was going on with Tyler. This was before they had recorded. When she released those Instagram posts, it was before they had filmed after they had already filmed the reunion show, but it hadn't aired, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy going to say for himself on the reunion? But then obviously the reunion aired and he didn't have to address any of it because they had already filmed the reunion. So my first question to you is, how did the Bry stuff land in your hands? Did you reach out to her? Did she reach out to you? And then how much of convincing did it take for her to come on your TikTok and do an interview with you? Was it a lot of arm wringing, or was it she was like, no, I want to get this out there?
Yeah. So the way that it landed in my lap is typically how it works is like, I heard rumblings, right? That he has these 3 children, but I noticed like there's no pictures of them. There's just people saying that he had 3 children. Mind you, this was very early on in the season that these rumblings started coming out. So the episodes hadn't even aired where he tells Ashley that he's this donor, but I knew that he was going to say this narrative on TV because I already knew what was going to happen on the season. So I said, okay, I need to get pictures of these children. I need to make sure he actually has children. So that was like kind of like my first video. And then I saw the grandmother posting pictures and stuff. So I said, let me talk to her. Right. So the grandmother was my first point of contact to where she's sharing things with me. And I'm saying, would your daughter talk to me? I would love to talk to her. The bride did not want to talk to me. Bride really was trying to take the high road. She was really trying to give Tyler the benefit of the doubt. She really did not want to expose any of this. At this time, Tyler was still telling her, you're going to, I'm going to clear everything up at the reunion. Don't worry about it. And she was believing him. Honestly, she was really trying to give him that benefit of the doubt to clear everything up and trust his word. And so I think because I knew what was going to happen at the reunion already, I'm telling her, he does not clear it up at the reunion. He's manipulating you. And so she finally said, oh, well, if he's going to clear it up at the reunion, then me releasing these videos is only going to match what he says at the reunion, because what I'm saying is true. And she did not want to speak with me. It took, I spoke with everyone around her fiance, her ex-wife, her mom, teachers, everyone else involved in the situation, to where they said, hey, where they kind of convinced her, hey, you should talk to this girl. She is very well aware of what's going on, and it would be beneficial to speak with her. So then at that point, once she's seen the reunion and she saw that everything I told her was going to happen, what happened, and that he didn't clear it up, that's when she came to me and said, okay, I'm ready to talk, because he lied to me. He didn't clear it up at the reunion, and he did exactly what you said he was going to do.
So the 5 Instagram posts that she released, those were done before she did the interview with you, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So when she released those 5 posts, the biggest thing that I took out of it was, number 1, the first child was through a sperm donation, because her and her ex-fiance at the time, or was she married to that?
Married, ex-wife, yes.
She was married to her at the time. Mm-hmm. And she said they wanted to have a child together. They used Tyler's sperm. Mm-hmm. The second one, she said, well, the twins, mm-hmm. happened through sex. They just decided to hook up.
Yeah.
And so, as far as I know, now I haven't seen every interview of Tyler or Ashley. Ashley obviously went on Viall Files, which we'll get to as well.
Right.
Because, by the way, I have a very long-standing feud with Nick Viall. So, through everything, I still not have heard Ashley or Tyler address the fact that the twins were through sex. Has she, unless I missed something, has Ashley addressed it? Has Tyler said he's still going with the sperm babies for all 3?
Okay. This is what's ridiculous. So he just did he spoke out for the first time today. The interview dropped today. Yeah. And that the internet is going crazy because the host tried to ask him in several different ways if the twins were conceived naturally. And he implied that Bri and her ex-wife saved vials of his sperm and used them because they wanted to extend their family. Now, mind you, both Bri and her ex-wife have both I've spoken to both of them, have both said that she had nothing to do with the twins. They were separating during that time. Tyler has come up with this brand new narrative that the ex-wife and her rekindled and were trying to expand their family, and saved vials of his sperm. And that's where the twins came from. And the host did ask him outright, why is she saying that the twins were conceived naturally? And he hopped around it. He skipped around. He said, oh, would anybody be feeling sympathetic for her if she would have said that they weren't conceived naturally? That's what he said. He didn't answer the question. He jumped all around it. He skipped all around it and said, oh, well, would anybody be feeling bad for her if she said they weren't conceived naturally? So, and again, host didn't hold his foot to the flame and ask him directly. were you having sexual relations with Rye? So he implied that they saved vials of his sperm and used it later, as if she has some type of secret sperm bank in her garage.
Yeah, that took a turn that I didn't expect. I didn't know that answer was coming from him. Okay, so that doesn't really answer thing, but it does in my eyes that this guy still is not owning up to it. You know, it's like almost one of these things where, I mean, obviously you've spoke to Bride, you spoke to people around her.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Is it any way that that is true, what Tyler is saying? Or are you convinced they absolutely decided, I don't know if it was a drunken night. I don't know if they openly both decided, hey, let's try and have a baby. Like this encounter that produced the two twins, when they conceived twins that time, I got the impression through Bry's videos that this was not, obviously wasn't planned, but once she got pregnant, she wasn't going to give them up. Is that accurate?
Yes, they were not planned. And even when I spoke with her, she says they were a mistake, not meaning them themselves are mistakes. She meant that her getting pregnant was on accident. They were not trying to have children. She wasn't trying to have more babies. Like, she just got pregnant. She even considered terminating the pregnancy. And when she found out it was twins, she decided not to move forward with the termination, and that Tyler supported this decision, and they decided to move forward as parents. So in his interview again today, he tried to hone in on the fact that Bri called her children mistakes. And I'm like, that's not what she was saying. She was saying that her getting pregnant was a mistake. It was, she got pregnant on accident. Hence, you guys had sex and she got pregnant. And, you know, I think like because Bri identifies as a lesbian, that is not a detail that she wanted to share. So to imply that she's lying about it, like she just said it just because it sounds good, is ridiculous. Like, you can tell that that is a detail that it was very challenging for her to share that detail. Even her ex-wife said her saying it on her Instagram was the first time she's ever heard Bri admit to being intimate with Tyler.
Now, this intimacy with Tyler that ended up conceiving twins, was this at a time where she was trying to get back with him? Were they having sex over continuous months and one of the times happened to end up in a pregnancy? What was the reason that she has given either you or in those videos, which I don't remember every detail of, the reason for her just, was it a drunken hookup? Was it one time? What was the reasoning for it?
So I did not ask details on their sexual relationship because I knew that it was a detail that she wasn't proud of. So I didn't want to pry and say, were you guys having an ongoing sexual relationship? But from my understanding, it would appear that they were having ongoing sexual relationships. But again, that is not a detail that I asked Bri, because for me, the relevance of it is not important. Rather, they were continuously sleeping together or slept together one time. The fact of the matter is you guys slept together and you got pregnant and you guys have children.
And so she was divorced from her wife at this point. And how old was the first child at this point when she got pregnant with the twins?
He was one. Okay. She was not divorced officially, but separated. And the wife was already moved back to a different state, and they were not together. So Tyler, to imply that the wife came back around and they wanted to extend their family after they've had this ongoing custody battle for their first child, and now you're telling the world that they got back together and wanted to extend their family, it's a bold-faced lie that that he probably just made up today for this podcast.
Yeah. All right. So here we are, and we've got that situation of, okay, now you've got three children with Bri. One of them is a sperm donation. Two of them were conceived naturally. And the show airs as it airs. He finally tells Ashley, he tells her off camera, but then she has said since, I wanted to address my reaction to it on camera. We never see the conversation where he actually told her, and then we get her reaction on camera, and then the reunion happens, and they couldn't really address it because Bri's videos came out after they had already filmed it. And you know, I'm curious on there's so many things here. In her videos, in Bri's videos, she said the last time Tyler had any contact with these children, I believe, was September 30th, basically the day before he left for filming. He was hanging out with them
Right.
up until filming. And then from the second he got back, he's never talked to or seen the kids. And he got back from filming end of October, roughly last year.
Yes. So Bri shared with me some text threads. So they were actually in communication.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yes, where they were in communication, and she's asking him, when are you going to be able to see the kids? Like, they're so excited to see you. And he's, talking to her about Ashley, and it kind of seems like his communication kind of cuts off around November, which was wedding time. So it appears that after he got married is when he went completely ghost. But yeah, he was with the children right day before filming. And if you watch the Nick Viall podcast, Ashley says very confidently in that interview that Tyler had been cut off Bri and the children. He had been cut them out of their lives. So I don't know if she genuinely believes that, and those text messages were a shock to her. But I believe in that moment she did not know that Tyler had not cut off Bri or these children.
Someone emailed me, and it could be just somebody that had their facts wrong, that said Tyler is not on the birth certificate for any of the 3 children. Is that correct?
He is on the birth certificate for the twins.
Oh, he is?
Yes. Okay. He is not on the birth certificate for the first child, which the ex-wife is on the birth certificate.
Okay, so before Tyler leaves for filming, he's got 3 children with Bri.
Mm-hmm.
What has she said his role is? Obviously, I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, and riding bikes and all this stuff at birthday parties.
Yeah.
She explained it to you. So as best as you know, what was his role with these children?
He was their father.
I mean, legally he's their father, yes. But what was he?
Dad.
Was he living with her? Was he? Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes. So here's the thing: is although the first son was intended to be a donor situation, both Tyler and Bri and Deshaun have all publicly said that when the son was very, very young, 10 months old, when Deshaun stepped out of the picture, Deshaun, his ex-wife, when they went their separate ways, Tyler came to Bri and asked to take on a father role for the son. So although it was never intended to be his son, he asked to take on that role. They had a in-depth conversation about it, what it would entail, what it would look like, how he would help out. And they agreed to those terms and moved forward. And from that day, he was the dad. And they moved into a home together so that they could have a home for their 3 children. So like they lived together for a year when the girls and the son when they were babies. So for him to say, I mean, even on the podcast this morning, he admitted that he would see them 5-6 times a week. He was an active father. And he's trying to say he wasn't active because he removed himself at some point, but then in the next breath you say you were there 5-6 days a week. So it was always intended there never needed to be a conversation regarding the twins, right? Like, you don't sit down with the person you're pregnant by and say, so what is going to be your role? That only happened for the son because of the original donor agreement. But for the twins, there's no discussion that needs to be had. You're their dad.
Okay, so when she said he left for filming on September 30th of 2023, he has not seen them since. Obviously, they were in contact. You showed the text messages. Clearly, he was in contact with Bri once filming, and he got his phone back, which, by the way, those text messages didn't paint a flattering picture of him's thoughts on Ashley. Like, again, he was like, Ashley, didn't he literally say Ashley's not my type?
Yeah, he said something along the lines of, she doesn't look like anybody I've ever dated, I'll tell you that, but she's nice. Which, again, I didn't think that was the worst thing. That's the point of the experiment, is to go and fall for somebody that's not typically your usual type. I think the issue that people had with that is that currently in 2024, since he's been married, he's been liking, I mean, he must not have known that your likes on TikTok are public, and every single like of his is a lighter, fair-skinned woman, young woman, and you're liking these things as a married man. That's what people like what made people raise their eyebrows, not that, Ashley's not your typical type. We understand that's the point of the experiment.
Okay. I didn't even know that. I didn't know he was liking pictures of younger women.
Younger women, yes. And it's not just like one or two, it's like hundreds. Like
Okay.
you can scroll for days, and you're a married man at this point. So that's strange.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question I had in regards to all that was, okay, September 30th, he leaves for filming. And at that time on September 30th, was he living with Bri or no?
No.
He was still in the children's lives, but he wasn't living with them. And then while he was away filming, or since, when did Bri get in the relationship that she's, I believe, currently in, right?
She's been in a relationship for the past 4 years. She's been in a long-term relationship. So I think that Tyler is trying to imply that because she's in a relationship that he gets to negate his responsibilities as a father because the children have a step parent. Like that's never made sense to me. That was like his main point today on his podcast, was like, well, yeah, like she has a fiance. Like, what does that have to do with you being a dad? Like, okay, they have a step parent. Great. But that doesn't mean you get to not be a dad.
So he has never addressed the question, why have you not talked to or supported your children since you left for filming? He hasn't answered the question of that, right?
I don't know that he's been asked that. The host today didn't. This is the interview today is the first interview that Tyler has done, and the host did not ask him that. The host did not ask. He said he went into the experiment, and since being in the experiment, it gave him clarity that this was not. That's what he said. It gave him clarity that this was not the situation that he wanted to be in, and rather he came out married or not, he was going to come back from Love is Blind and decide that he no longer wanted to be part of the children's lives.
So now I want to look at it from the Ashley perspective, because there's a part of me that thinks that there was probably some sort of conversation she had with him after he told her about these children, which again, I feel like Ashley hasn't been asked, or her feet have been held to the fire when she's been asked certain questions of, okay, he springs this on you during filming.
Right.
You get over it. You're shocked at first, but you eventually get over it. I'm fine. You end up marrying this guy.
Right.
But since she has found all this stuff out, number one, that the twins were conceived naturally. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard her say her opinion of what she thinks of that. And number two, what do you think about the fact that this man has just decided to disown his own children? Even if he doesn't want to see them again, he has a financial obligation till they're 18 to support them.
Yeah.
What do you think about your man that you're married to, this guy that you say that you love so much, completely disowning his kids? How has she not addressed this anywhere? But she's making jokes about possibly being pregnant and then no, I'm not pregnant. And she's joking around about that stuff. How has she not answered this yet? I'm baffled.
Again, Ashley, when she went on Nick Viall, or however you say his name, Bri's videos were not out. That interview filmed the same week as the reunion, so her videos were not out. I believe, and again, I can't speak for Ashley, but I believe that whatever narrative that Tyler is telling her, she genuinely believes. So if you listen to his interview this morning, then you would have heard him say in so many words, it's sticking on that these are not his children, that he never felt connected to them. These are not his children. He was just a donor. He gave his sperm to this family, and those are those kids. So I believe that Ashley thinks that. He still believes that he has nothing to do with these kids. These are her children. That's her family. And now she's just coming after him for money, which is also crazy.
His obligation as a father of these children, she shouldn't even have to come after him for money. He should be supporting her with money, because that's his obligation at this point. If he doesn't want to see them, look, we can have a whole separate debate about whether this guy just wants to move on with his life and not see these children. That's fine. I don't particularly agree with it, But
he doesn't have the option to see the children anymore. And I think that that's what people are missing. Bride does not want him in. Why would I want anybody who treats my children this way in their life? I don't want Tyler in their life. I don't want Ashley in their life. I want him to pay his child support and I want him to leave me alone.
So she just wants him to do his due diligence as a father of these children, pay your child support, basically.
Yeah, she says, this is, I think an important fact that people are missing is that this is not the first time Tyler has done this to her. He has done this before where he got into a relationship and disappeared on the children and on her. So when he went on Love is Blind, it was always a concern for her that this would happen again. And it's a conversation that they had. Are you sure that this is not going to happen again? Because it happened before, and he said he wouldn't, and he did. So, again, I don't want to speak for Ashley, but I believe that whatever lie that Tyler is trying to maintain, because he went on the podcast this morning and tried to maintain it. He tried to maintain it in court this past Friday. They had a court case for child support. He's trying. I believe she believes that lie.
Which is amazing because obviously on the show, she wouldn't have seen any pictures or videos of him being in their lives. But since the show's done filming and since this became public, and, there's this whole debate of, look, I'm 100% on your coverage of this, on Bri being able to come out and speak about this because, and, the reunion show, tap dance around it. Oh, kids are involved. Let's be sensitive. But I'm sorry, this is a situation where how can you go on the show with 3 kids and expect it not to be talked about? Like, I'm sorry, he's ignorant to think that was never going to happen. Leave these kids out of it. It's not their concern. They're going to read about this when they get older, and it's going to be, look, him going on the show threw all that out the window. If you don't want this being discussed, don't go on the show. I'm sorry.
Or don't discuss it on the show, right? So I think, again, on the podcast this morning, he was so like, I was protecting them. Like, that's why I didn't want to talk about it. How was going on the show and lying about them, protecting them? Protecting them would have been telling the truth or not mentioning it at all. But the fact of the matter is you mentioned them and you lied about it. And he's saying, oh, I didn't bring them up because I didn't want people to go digging. Had you gone on that show and said, I have 3 kids back home, I love them dearly, I hope that you can love them too, what would there have been for people to dig for? And to be honest, nobody really dug for anything. Like, the family was so appalled when they heard him denounce the children as sperm babies that they came forward and said, hey, sperm babies, they're not. Like, that's not the truth, So, and again, the host let him skate right on out of that. I'm protecting them. That's why I didn't want to bring them up. Yeah. You mean that's why you lied on them? Like, let's make it make sense. He contradicted himself a lot in that podcast. It was wild to see him wiggle out of questions, to see him, like, he did a lot of deflecting. Like, that interview was purely to bash the mother of his children. That was the intent of that interview.
I wonder if Ashley is just like, I'm not staying with you. I wonder if she told him, like, look, once it came out, or maybe even after the show and before it became major news, this past October when the show started airing. I don't know at what point, but maybe she just said to him, look, if you're going to be with me, you need to disown them, and you need to have nothing to do with them, and don't even, talk about them. Maybe that was the way that she presented it, and that's why he's acting the way he is, because she's actually the one controlling the situation. And like, I'm not going to stay married to you if you're going to be with the
narrative, right? That's out there, but I think I don't think that we can blame Ashley for Tyler's actions, considering it's a pattern.
Yeah.
He's done this before. And if he hadn't done this before, I would say, like, maybe there's some outside influence from Ashley, but no, it's a pattern. This is what this man does. When he falls in love and gets into a relationship, he miraculously doesn't want to have children anymore. And that's just not the way it works.
Speaking of that, you found out something else about Tyler's ex-fiance. When he was previously engaged, he never even told his ex-fiance that he had donated sperm and he had a child out there that was through a sperm donation. She had no idea.
She had no idea. And
how and when did she find out?
So I don't know exactly how she found out, but she found out at some point along the way, along the terms of the pregnancy. Now, this morning on the podcast, Tyler did address this, and the way he skipped out of it was crazy. Like, it was, the host tried to like ask him, but he just like, he was like, oh, we were already broken up by the time I donated the sperm. That's what he said, right? And then the host said, well, then what is this that you had her at a baby shower, you had her at a gender reveal? And where the host messed up is he said baby shower. So Tyler took that like baby shower, and it was actually a gender reveal. No, I never had her at a gender reveal. So the host asked him straight out, were you engaged when you donated sperm? Yes. Did your partner at the time know that you donated sperm? He said no.
So he did admit to that she had no idea.
But then in the next breath says, by the time I donated the sperm, we were already broken up.
Well, it's confusing. He just said that the guy asked him point blank, were you engaged when you donated the sperm? And he said yes.
He says we were at the tail end of our engagement. That's what he said. We were at the tail end of our engagement. And Jesus. Did you tell her? No. But then in the next breath says, well, by the time I donated the sperm, we had ended our relationship, and I just thought I was never gonna have kids. And I had just gotten cheated on. He blamed the whole reason for him and his ex-fiance breaking up on him being cheated on. And I was never going to have a family. So I thought, why not help somebody else out? But again, the host should have caught that you just contradicted yourself. You just said you were engaged, and then now you're saying the relationship ended when you donated the sperm.
Like you said, Rikki, make it make sense. I don't know. I'm so confused about all of it. I mean, I have obviously a little bit clearer picture now.
Yeah.
When Ashley went on Nick's podcast, obviously it's, again, it was before Bri had come out with her videos, but what were the biggest issues you had with Ashley and the things that she said on Nick's podcast?
So I had a lot of issues with Ashley's podcast because she was speaking so confidently on a situation that she clearly did not have the full context on. Yeah. My biggest issue is that she said she did her due diligence, that she spoke to everyone she needed to that was involved, but you did not speak to Bri. You did not speak to Bri. She is a very big main component in this. You said you spoke to his mom, you spoke to his sister, you spoke to his brother, who, not saying that they are lying for him, but those are people in his life that might go along with his narrative for him. You did not speak to the main person involved, which is the mother of the children, which leads me to believe that you did not want to know the full truth.
But at some point, because you said this on one of your TikToks and Bri might have said it, they had been in communication. Actually, didn't Ashley say that on Vial Files, or maybe it was somewhere else?
Yes.
Ashley said, Bri, the mother of the children, contacted me and she was very apologetic towards me. And then I was like, but then I read the text and I'm like, it's not, again.
So again, that was another issue that I had with her, is that you went and you painted this narrative that Bri came to you. First of all, why did Bri have to come to you? You should have went to her a year ago before this show even aired to get clarity on this situation. You told her in the DMs that you did not want clarity on the situation. That's not what you were looking for, but that you welcome her perspective. And then you painted this narrative that this woman came to you to apologize for some wrongdoing or some harm that she's caused you, when clearly she's saying to you, I'm sorry that we're all going through this. This is a lot on all of our mental health and all of that. Like, she was not apologizing to you in the capacity that you made it seem, and in that interview, again, she called me a fake TikTok journalist and says that, I released some text messages that could have been from anybody. That's what she said. They could have been from anybody. Anybody can create a text thread and put the name Tyler at the top. And she said, oh, so you do that and you take it as word, or you take it as Bible, or whatever she said. And I said, okay, I can show the number, because I verified the number. I'm in communication with people who actually know this man. Yeah. And so unless the grandmother, the baby mother, and all three of his ex-girlfriends that I spoke with all have the same phone number, then what are we talking about here? I can show you the number. So now that I've shown the number, now what do you have to say? At the end of the day, you have the words of a lying man and I have receipts. So
Yeah.
You can call me a fake TikTok journalist all you want.
That's one of the things that drives me up a wall when it comes to showing receipts and it comes to a text message exchange that you are releasing on your TikTok or on your YouTube channel, or in my case, my website. I've done that numerous times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The people that want to defend the person that I am creating a case against are immediately saying, well, how do you know those TikTok? Anybody can do that. It's like,
yeah.
Do you really think that I just made this up and I called my best friend and said, hey, change my name. Let's have this conversation. Say this in return. Change my name in your phone. It's like,
let's have months long text exchanges just to fabricate a lie about your man. Like, and that's the thing, is it's not like, if you wanted to know the truth, you would have went to the woman, or even come to me and said, hey, can I see the number on those texts, instead of now you're going on public podcasts and calling me a fake TikTok journalist and saying that I fabricated these messages. Okay, well, now you're coming for my credibility. So I will in fact, because she said in the interview, show the number. So I did.
Yeah.
And it's like, and still you have nothing to say for it, because Tyler did not address that at all, that you were asking a woman to come over while you were engaged. So this whole narrative that he's changed and he's not the person he used to be, all of these things are very, very recent. They're all very recent.
I think Ashley is in a position now where she has dug her heels in so deep.
100%.
That she doesn't want to ever admit that she was wrong, because she's going to have so much egg on her face. Even though there's probably, I'm sure if Ashley is being truly honest with herself, I think she knows in the back of her head, crap, something is off here. Yeah. Maybe Tyler isn't who I thought he was. 100%. But she's dug in so deep right now. She's just like, I dump him, everyone's going to be like, Ashley, we told you about this months ago. You wouldn't listen to us. Reality with that, the Ashley girl, the other Ashley, what is it? What's her name?
Reality Ashley.
Reality Ashley.
Yeah.
You'll basically be doing a victory dance. And I think Ashley on Love is Blind is just so dug in at this point where she doesn't want to admit wrongdoing here. And she doesn't want to admit, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't vet him like I should have. And she knows that people are going to do a celebratory dance once it comes to find out. And look, I don't know what's going to happen between Tyler and Ashley, but.
And I think that that's the misconception here, right? I think that she thinks, she has this idea that the internet is like forcing her to leave Tyler or wants her to leave Tyler. At the end of the day, every woman has dealt with a lying man. Don't let me speak for every woman, but a lot of us have dealt with a lying man. And if you want to stay with him, that is your prerogative. If you want to make your marriage work because you took a vow and you want to stand on that vow, that is your prerogative. Do it. Help him pay his child support. Help him do right by these kids. Nobody cares about your relationship. But what people care about is that you keep publicly speaking and saying that we're wrong, that we have it wrong, that we don't know what's going on, that we don't have the full scope of things. Where it's like, well, we do, because we're hearing your side, and we've also heard the other side, a side that you've refused to acknowledge. And it's okay to say, I didn't have the full scope of everything. Now that I do, I'm going to stand beside my husband, but I'm also going to make sure that he takes care of his children. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing.
That's the way to go about it, instead of this
getting defensive, essentially.
Instead of getting defensive, getting upset, calling people names, accusing them of falsifying documents. Like, that's just not the way to go. And now Tyler's going on this smear campaign against everyone else except for himself.
And at the very least, look, if Tyler doesn't want the kids in his life, I don't agree with it, but he has that right to just say, you know what, I don't want to have anything to do with it. But I'm just shocked that Ashley, even if they both of them don't want the children to be part of their marriage because they want to start a life together and possibly have children, fine. But he should do his due diligence as a father, and he should be paying his child support, clearly. And I'm just shocked that Ashley isn't even stepping in and saying, even if she 100% believes, well, like I said, nobody's asked her, what do you think about the fact that these twins were not sperm babies. If you just think that, oh, he's a sperm baby, he shouldn't have to donate, you can have that debate till the end of time. Fine. But the other two were conceived naturally. They are his children. He should be supporting them. Why do you not think, why is he not paying? Why do you feel you're fine with your husband not paying his child support for children that he conceived with another woman, even if he's not in their life? I want her to answer that question.
I think I want her to answer that question as well. And the only thing that I can think of is that she, because of the lie that Tyler spewed today, that they saved his vials of sperm and conceived those twins, that's what Ashley believes, that she doesn't believe that the twins were conceived naturally, and she believes that they were conceived from a vial of sperm that Bri held on to trap Tyler. I don't know. Like, it sounds ridiculous because we all know that you can't save vials of sperm. So why Ashley? I mean, it's a simple Google search can tell you that's not even possible.
Yeah, like even if that is the case, she went turkey baster or whatever and saved it. I think I've always read, once sperm is outside of the body and in something that's not a tube or for any sort of amount of time, all those they all die. They all sperm die. You can't just then magically insert it into yourself and be like, okay, yeah, I'm pregnant. No.
She would like literally have to have, and like you're implying that like you produced this sperm and it was saved for an elongated period of time and then used later. Like do you know the type of equipment that she would have to have to even, make that a reality? So how Ashley is believing that, I don't know, but I am under the assumption that she is refusing to believe that the twins were conceived naturally. So that Bri is publicly saying that to harm Tyler in some way, that she's just making that up.
So that is her reasoning for why she doesn't feel like he should basically be supporting them. Is that right, because he was tricked into that because Bri saved the sperm? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to believe. I mean,
it sounds crazy, but it's like, if that's what you believe, then okay. But at the end of the day, right? Like, you hear what it sounds like. So it's like, if you choose to believe it, you're choosing to believe a lie. And if that's what you have to do to make your marriage work, then okay, great, good for you, but he should pay for his children at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. And it just sucks. You said there was a court date recently. I mean, is he being ordered to now, or we don't have its judgment on that? What's going on with that?
So basically got postponed until February. What he submitted to the court, as I said, was trying to paint this narrative that he is just a donor and that he is not the father. And what the exhibits that he submitted on behalf of this was, he submitted family pictures of Bri and her current fiance. Again, how her having a fiance negates his role as a father, I don't know. And some type of text message, thanks for donating text message. I asked Bri, like, what could this text message possibly be she's going through? Because he also showed it on the podcast this morning. I think he thinks it's going to be some like mic drop moment that like proves that he's just a donor. Which again, he's taking the narrative that fits for the first son and trying to apply it across the board, and that's just not the case. It basically got postponed because he's saying he's trying to now submit evidence that he was just a donor, and that evidence is family pictures of her and her fiance, which there's also family pictures of you and the children. So he's just buying time.
This is crazy.
It's literally insane. There's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
And the only one that doesn't make sense is Tyler's narrative.
Tyler's story, yeah. Tyler's story just doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, just bite the bullet and just pay the child support and have your life with Ashley. Go have children with Ashley. That's fine. Like you said, just pay your child support, because Bri, it's not like Bri is saying you need to help out with the children. You need to pick them up from school. You need to attend their baseball or basketball game. Yeah. No, she's not asking any of that. She's just like, hey, do your due diligence as a father and pay your child support.
Right. Because I didn't have these children by myself, Yeah. So his whole perspective this morning on this podcast was that Bri wants him to fund her lifestyle. He wants her to fund He wants her. She wants him to fund her family with her children and her new, like, that's all she wants. That's all she wants from me. I shouldn't have to fund her family. That's what he's saying.
Does he not understand how child support works? I mean, any guy could say that has children with somebody that they are no longer together with.
Exactly. Or
and any woman can. Any guy can claim that's what she's after. She just wants me to fund her life, her lifestyle
with her new family. Yeah, with her new family.
But it's the law. Like
the law, especially when you were paying you were actively paying child support for a year, and you stopped, and now now what?
He just thinks he shouldn't pay because they're no longer together. That's in his mind. That's his warped sense of reality. He thinks, well, I'm not together with her, so I shouldn't have to pay. Why should I pay for somebody else's children?
Right? They were never together. I think his argument is that he shouldn't have to pay because she has a new partner.
Which is even dumber.
The kids have two parents, so what do they need me for? And it's like, you're still their dad. Like, you're still their dad. Like, I don't know why no one has like really questioned him or said, like, what does her having a new partner have to do with your role as a father? What does we don't care that she has a fiance. Great that she has somebody to help her with these children. They're still your children. The children have a step parent. That's wonderful. Plenty of people have step parents.
Yeah.
Plenty of step parents refer to their stepkids as their children. I have a stepdad. You think I go around calling him stepdad? No, he's my dad. Do you think he calls me stepdaughter? No, he calls me his daughter. So the fact that that's your like smoking gun of like why this isn't your family is ridiculous. And why nobody's calling him out on it is ridiculous. And on his podcast this morning, he says, no one's reached out to me. I tried to reach out to him. He blocked me. And the thing is you're not going to talk to somebody like me because I know too much. I've seen too much. I've seen things that I have not even put out there. So you can't BS me. And I think that was the issue with the host this morning is the host this morning did not have a full scope of what was going on. You probably watched a few interviews. They definitely watched my interview with Bri, definitely watched my interview with Deshaun, but Tyler claims to not know who I am. But the host didn't know enough of the story to like really hold his foot to the fire. So it was, and I don't believe anybody believed him. I don't think anybody, it just made it worse. So
nobody saw that interview today or listened to that interview today and was like, wow, great points, Tyler. We're behind you. Like
not based on the comments I've seen. Not based on the comments I've seen. Everyone's kind of like catching his inconsistencies in it because there were a lot of them. In one comment you say she's just using me for money, and then you say that she has this great job. Like, which one is it? Like, in one paragraph you're saying, oh, the kids were conceived during a vial of sperm, but then like you're hopping around if they were conceived naturally. Like there were so many inconsistencies, and I think people caught them, but there are those select few that only watch the show, right? So there are comments like, I'm confused. Like, I thought he was just a donor, that have missed this whole spiel of like, no, he's not. Like they just saw Netflix, and that's why they don't understand why there's this big debacle behind this whole thing, because they're not caught up.
Yeah, I deal with it the same exact thing in Bachelor Nation. They only regurgitate the 2 hours that they watch the show on Monday nights. And if you don't follow along, there's usually so much more to the story happening on social media. It's almost like Big Brother, live feeds versus what CBS chooses to show you. There's just so much more to the story.
I've actually never watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. But I did get hit up for casting to be cast for this
for Grant season.
Yes. And when I seen him, I was like, damn, that would have been a good match, but he's a little too young for me.
It's a good looking guy, that's for sure.
Great looking guy. I was like,
yeah.
But when they I believe he's like 29 or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's late 20s. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. So they had asked me what my deal breaker age was, and it was definitely not. I said like nothing under 31.
Okay.
Like that.
and one final point to make about Tyler is just the whole point that I think a lot of people need to just remember is whether he wants to or not, it's the law. he has to pay child support until they're 18, unless I guess there's extenuating circumstances, or
Yeah.
the mother has lost custody of the children, or she's
Yeah.
an addict or something like that, and
Yeah. And I think
the
he will
kids
be
are taken away. But
I think he will be forced to pay. They're
yeah,
going I think he's gonna have to pay. But this implication that like he helped out a friend and he can't believe his friend is now doing this to him and he's just a people pleaser and he's just some victim in all of this is I think is the most is the craziest part to me.
oh boy, all right, that's a lot. That's almost an
Yeah.
hour just on Tyler and Ashley. So
Yeah.
I
God.
I, I
I
want
could talk about it forever because I just know too much.
I know it's great. I think it's awesome that you're doing this, and let's end with the Brittany Leo stuff, which
Okay.
ended up not even really Brittany Leo. Leo really has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know this until your For You page. Your stuff started showing up again on my For You. That Brittany. Now let me get this straight. When Brittany went and filmed in October of 2023, she
Mhm.
had a full-on boyfriend, because again, I deal with this in Bachelor and Bachelor Nation, that people are hooking up all the time. Hell, there are guys on this show that leave to go film The Bachelorette that are literally sleeping with another woman the night before they leave. And it's
Right.
just, hey, I'm going to go do this for fun.
Right.
Did Brittany have a side piece? Did she just have a guy that she was banging for a while? Or did she have an exclusive monogamous relationship and
Okay.
she left to go film Love is Blind?
So TMZ originally broke the story, right? And they implied that she had a full-on boyfriend. I spoke to the boyfriend myself yesterday
Okay.
to clarify some of those details, and he said that they were not in a relationship, in an official relationship, when she went to go film the show. They had previously been in a long-term committed relationship, kind of in and out of each other's lives. 6 months prior to filming, they had decided to take a break. So he was very clear that they had not spoken in 6 months. He hit her up.
Hmm.
They decided to go to lunch together. While they were at lunch together, she informed him about Love is Blind and said,
That she had, when at this lunch took place before she left for filming or after she got back?
a week or two before she left for filming.
Okay.
She informs him, hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to film this. I'm already committed to it. But there was that understanding that when I get back, like I'm going for an opportunity, I'm going for financial gain and for an opportunity. And we're gonna rock when I get back.
Okay.
So they weren't in a official relationship, which I think TMZ reported that they were. It was this implication but it was clear because they've done this multiple times, right? In and out of each
Okay.
other's lives.
So what she did at that point that she left for filming, she's done nothing wrong up to this point. She went for
Right.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything wrong.
Besides, going on the show for
I met with
love.
yeah. I met with him. Like
With him.
there
No,
was
he had no problem with it.
Okay.
He picked her up, dropped her off at the airport. He had no problem with it. He did say that, after the portion of the show, her and Leo went to Miami, which was not part of filming and was something completely separate. He did inform me that he didn't know about that. He said that I thought she was in Miami with a girlfriend and that she had contacted him from Miami. And he said that he didn't actually find out about that till current day, like when the show started airing, that they went to Miami.
So when she left, before she left for filming, she basically was kind of like unwritten, unspoken. Hey, like you said, we're going to rock with each other once I get back.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Once she got back from Miami with Leo and had basically called it off with Leo, did her and this ex start a exclusive monogamous relationship?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that would have been what, did they start right away? November of 2023?
Yeah,
December?
he picked her up from the airport and they've been together ever since.
Okay. And then the recent news, explain there.
So I think the point of the story, I know people wanted to focus on her being in a relationship when she went to film Love is Blind, but the point of the story was that she was 100% in a committed relationship with Rocky Hawkins, that's his name, when she was just recently seen out photographed by paparazzi with Maud's son. That was about no confusion there if that was her boyfriend or not. They were in a committed relationship. And the way that Rocky found out was those paparazzi photos.
Now, Here's an important question. I consider myself to be somewhat up to date a lot. I read entertainment sites all day long,
Yeah.
pretty dialed in to the celebrity entertainment music world. I had never heard Mod's son's name before this story broke.
Me
Who's
neither.
Mod's son? Who
Your
is he?
guess is as good as mine. All I pulled up was that he was engaged to Avril Lavigne at one point. He had
Is he
some
a
type,
musician himself?
he's a musician. He had
Okay.
some type of love triangle with, I don't even want to misquote the names. I don't know, Bella Thorne or somebody. I don't know, but I just know he was engaged to Avril Lavigne at one point. But I've been heard a song of his. I've never seen his face before. I don't know who he is.
Okay. So Rocky finds out through when we all do that
Mhm.
Brittany was seen with Mod's son. Has Brittany responded to this? Is it one of these, oh, it was just a picture, I don't know? Like, is she hooking up with Mod's son? Has it been proven? What has Rocky said since these pictures came out? Has he confronted Brittany about it? What has she said to him? Where are we at with all this now?
So she says, so there were video of Brittany and Maud's son not only holding hands and coming out to dinner, but also making out at his show. So to say like, oh, it was like platonic or anything would definitely be a stretch because there's videos of them kissing. She basically is just said sorry. Like, I asked Rocky if he's spoken to her. He said he has. And that basically,
She cheated on him and they're done.
yeah, she cheated on him and they're done. And she's sorry. She's sorry. She tried to say that she's not in a relationship with Maud's son, and that it's not as serious as like the blogs made it seem, which I don't think the blogs made it seem so serious at all. I know she tried to give some like BS excuse that, oh, we were walking out the restaurant and he just like grabbed my hand. But I'm like, did he just grab your lips too when you guys were kissing? Or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that basically she's sorry. Like she can't say anything else besides she's sorry.
Okay. So it's just a case of somebody obviously. Look, when I saw Brittany on Love is Blind, I'm like, it's very hard to believe, number one, that she would even be attracted to Leo. But again, she didn't know what he looked like until the reveal. But she just always came across to me as somebody that was, okay, I think I know why she's on the show. And it's to try to build something post-show beyond Perfect Match, stuff like that, which maybe she is. Hasn't Perfect Match already filmed?
It has filmed, but Rocky says that Brittany is not on Perfect Match. Yeah.
Now, there's rumors that Hannah is.
I heard that nobody from season 7 is.
Oh.
That's the rumblings that I've heard, unless the source maybe wasn't able to identify Hannah because she does look quite different now. But I'm told that nobody from season 7 is on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Rocky Brittany situation is just she cheated on him and got caught, and now they are done. And Rocky's probably pissed off, probably a little embarrassed.
Yeah, 100%. He said his family's calling him, like everybody's like, obviously reaching out to him because it's like, oh, we just saw your girlfriend on TMZ with another man, so I'm sure that's embarrassing.
So just to wrap it up, we've got a few other things from season 7. We know that Monica is in a new relationship. We know that who else is in a new relationship? Was
Marissa.
Oh yeah,
in a relationship.
Marissa's in a relationship. Garrett and Taylor are doing well, seemingly. Seem to be the most normal couple of this season.
Yes.
Obviously, Nick has done some post-show interviews. Do you know where? Like, obviously, the other thing was Marissa's whole thing on the reunion about defending Hannah, and then all of a sudden, I guess Marissa and Hannah unfollowing each other on Instagram, and then Marissa has done interviews since then saying, "Look, she was my bestie in the house.
Yeah.
At the reunion, yeah, I did call her out. I didn't agree with the way she treated Nick, but it seems like their friendship is no longer. Not necessarily that they hate each other, but maybe they just...
I don't know, because then they just posted a TikTok together. So
they did? Okay.
That they're, I guess, back friends. So
okay.
Yeah. So they did just post a TikTok together. So,
and just quick thoughts for people that didn't follow your TikTok during the season. Your thoughts on the Ramses Marissa relationship and also Steven and Monica. I'm guessing it is just what are these guys doing? I mean, that's just my.
For me, I just thought like it. I was confused why Ramses was there. I think that during filming, like Marissa did seem very genuine, and the audience seemed to turn on her at the reunion because of Hannah. I think people like disliked Hannah so much that anybody like defending her, jumping on her bandwagon was like not going to be in their favor. So that's really unfortunate for Marissa to have put herself in that line of fire, and it kind of backfired on her for somebody that's not really her friend anymore. And I think people, once that happened, started garnering some sympathy for Ramses. I think a lot of this season's cast was there for the wrong reasons, and it shows. Like Steven, you clearly were doing your thing on the side, wasn't serious about this experiment. Ramses, I feel the same way. Like, were you just looking for somebody to hump on? Like, I'm not really sure. Like, it just didn't seem like any of the men were there for the right reasons. Besides maybe Garrett. Like,
yeah, I almost feel like Garrett, we're hanging on by a string here. You seem to be the only good dude of the season. Please don't let something come out about your past, or you were with somebody the day before you left for filming or something. Because
right, yeah.
And I really liked their relationship. I mean, it seems like they're thriving. They're doing really well together.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Hannah, Nick, your final closing thoughts on Hannah and Nick. For me, I just felt Nick was way too young. Her too. I just don't think that they were ever going to last, even if they decided to walk down the aisle together. They're just too young, too inexperienced. But I agree with Marissa when she says, I do not like the way Hannah spoke to Nick.
Yeah.
Hannah has admitted it in post-show interviews. Like, wow, watching it back, I realized I cannot talk to men that way. And my significant mother, especially.
Right.
And then I just think Nick was young, immature. The stuff that he wrote in his journal, it's whatever. I'm guessing all these people want to be famous at some point,
Yeah. I think I agree. I think they were not compatible. I think the way that Hannah spoke to Nick was crazy, and I think her lack of accountability. I think even post interviews, like she's had the chance to just kind of apologize and like leave it there, but she always like apologizes and then follows it up with a but, and continuously trying to like degrade Nick, which is not going to make her look any better. Like, you saying anything negative about this man is not going to make you look any better because you beat him up the whole entire season. So nobody wants to hear it. Like, unless you're going to say, rather he was being fake or not, like he sang your praises. He always spoke highly of you. And you should do the same, because you trying to bash him is not going to help you. You need to just say sorry, and you need to stop talking. So that's my view on Hannah. And that doesn't mean that Nick is perfect. I agree. He was not ready. He was not there for the right reasons. He played his cards the way he played his cards. He's going on Love is Blind to be the most famous person ever. So he made sure he got a good edit. And it's like almost like Marissa and Hannah wanted him to admit that he was being fake. And it's like, if the cameras are not catching it and I'm getting this good edit, why would I tell on myself? You know what I mean? Like, why would I tell on myself? Even if that's what he was doing, he was playing the role. Like, he was doing a good job at it. And I think that they thought it was like their smoking gun, that like he was talking about Hannah behind her back. And it's like, or their smoking gun that he was there for fame. And it's like, everybody was kind of like, okay, so all of you guys are like, let's just keep it real. Like, Hannah, you have a manager. Alex, you have a PR team. Like, you guys are all there for fame. So I don't think that comment like hit the way they thought it was going to.
Exactly. Actually, one final thing. We know the next season, Minnesota, comes out on Valentine's Day, I believe, February 14th.
Mm-hmm.
You, as the person, along with Reality Ashley, that covers this show, do you know the names of all the couples? Do you know how next season rolls out? Are you a spoiler in that aspect? Will you post all that stuff before we even know? Because we're not going to find out who the cast is as the public.
Right.
People that don't follow along online and do digging for stuff, and probably there are pictures out there of when filming took place and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you spoil that stuff or no?
I do, but sometimes. So I will do it closer to when the season is going to air, for people who want to know where it's relevant. If I did it right now, like literally nobody would care. I know
nobody would know who these people are, right?
Nobody would know. So I know the cast. I know who gets married. Like I know at least one couple who gets married already. Which Reality Ashley, she she's all knowing. So it's like she knows too. But again, it's not relevant now. So I will do a spoiler video. Like usually once the first episode airs, I'll do a spoiler video for anybody who wants to know how the rest of the season's going to go. And then I would do a spoiler video of like, if you want to know who gets married or how things pan out, fall off, I will do that. But I give a blatant spoiler warning when
Gotcha.
it's relevant. When it's relevant. Right now, it's not relevant. So,
have friends / family of contestants on Love is Blind season 8 Minnesota, have they come to you and said, "Oh boy, talk about the Ashley and Tyler drama. Just wait till next season air." Like, are we looking? Have you heard anything in those regards? Not even giving details, but just
there was a video that went viral actually when last season was airing, season 6 was airing. There was a girl who was crying in front of her camera, and she's like, "I just found out that my ex is on the upcoming season of Love is Blind. I don't know what season it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to air, but why does Netflix keep giving platforms to these trash men?" So that was in regard to the Minneapolis season. I have heard that the person that she's referencing doesn't really make it very far in the experiment. So I'm not really sure how relevant that would be. But usually the tea starts spilling when the cast is revealed. Because right now, nobody really knows who's going to be on the cast. Once those cast pictures are revealed, that's when people start saying, "Oh my God, I know this person, I know that person, I know this about this person, I know that about this person."
So we know that DC filmed October of 2023. When did fill me in on the filming schedule for Minneapolis? Was that November? Was it the next month? When did they film?
I'm not exactly sure on the timelines, but it's around the same time, like that they film it simultaneously. But Reality Ashley would know exact dates for sure.
Did you get, or does Reality Ashley get pictures sent to her during filming? Like, hey, even though they don't know who they are at the time, hey, this looks like Love is Blind filming down here at a resort 100%. In Mexico.
Yeah, 100%.
Here they are hanging out in Minneapolis.
Yeah, like I think the gold cups give it away. So whenever somebody sees the gold cups filming, they'll say, "Hey, Love is Blind is filming. I'm not sure this is what city we're in. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but keep it in your back pocket." Basically,
gotcha.
You know what I mean? Right. So we keep it in our back pocket for like a year.
Perfect. It's just crazy. The turnaround time is a year. Like with Bachelor, it's only 4 months that they have to keep it a secret. I just can't. It's so weird to me. Getting into this Love is Blind for the last 2 seasons, that these seasons are filmed a year in advance, and these couples have to literally live a whole life for 1 calendar year. Now, granted, their friends and family know. Garrett and Taylor's friends and family knew what the outcome was, and same with everybody. But it's just so weird that you have to keep that quiet for an hour. Anyway, my dog is starting to bark, so that means interview over.
She's like going crazy in her face. I'm like,
Rikki, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate this. Even though I'm the spoiler guy, you don't know this about me. Even though I'm the spoiler guy for Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I do the same thing. I spoil the season before it airs. I don't want to be spoiled about anything else in my life. I don't want to know about movies before I go see them. I don't read the end of books. It's just Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. So I will not want to know when February 14th rolls around. I want to watch it, but once it's all aired, we're definitely going to have you back on again.
Okay, I got it. Like, don't worry, all my videos will have a spoiler alert. Like, so if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to.
Perfect.
I missed the days when I could just watch the show and I didn't get a spoiler.
No, I will absolutely have you back on. Maybe there will be a Ashley / Tyler level drama next season.
You know what? I hope not, because this had children involved, but this is probably the biggest, the craziest, most diabolical story that came out of Love is Blind. Like the SK cheating scandal was a big deal, but SK, he was on, I think I want to say season 3.
Yeah. See, I don't even know.
It was a big deal, but there's been nothing like it. It's insane.
Yeah.
They should do a Netflix documentary on it.
Yeah. It certainly seems like it. Anyway, Rikki, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we'll obviously be in touch and talk to you in the future.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.